Hi, Jack here from the Washboard Resonators, and today's video I'm going to give you some effective ways of practicing with a metronome that I find really useful, and I use them all the time. So the first thing to say is that we should all be practicing with metronomes. There's a kind of myth that it's the drummer's job in the band to keep the time, but it's not true. It's everyone's job to keep the time, so it's something you should work on regardless of what instrument you play. Now I'm using an app here. I use this app a lot for my practice. It's called Metronomics, and I've got it set at 80 beats per minute. And what we're going to do is go through, so a lot of people that use a metronome just use it in crotchets, and it's still useful, but it's kind of boring. You can see why people get bored of playing along to it. Just thinking this as crotchets. 1, 2, got a bar out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's still a really useful thing to do, but for me it's not particularly musical. I mean, as much as you can make a metronome musical, I don't find it that useful, and especially playing old jazz, then you feel the emphasis on beats 2 and 4. So next thing to do with this is try and feel this metronome on the beats 2 and 4 only. So technically we're doubling the tempo, we're leaving it at 80 on the app, but now we're feeling it at 160, and we're feeling it in minims. So we've got to change this over now, so it's got to be 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's already more musical for me, whatever I'm playing, whether I'm doing some rudiments or practicing my swing time or reading anything. That's how I tend to use it on 2 and 4. This, if you're a guitarist as well, or a pianist, or any instrument, you can work on your scales, you can work on your time, you can work on your chords. Like, just doing a bit with a metronome every day in your practice is going to really help develop and make you aware of your time. You can use this obviously on the 1 and 3 as well if you're practicing pop or rock or anything where the emphasis isn't on the 2 and 4. You just got to feel it that way again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next way to make this more interesting and kind of harder, because the most effective way to practice is trying to practice several things at the same time. If you can do those several things, you try and combine them, and then you're not just practicing one thing, you're practicing a few and developing these other skills. So the next step with this is to take a bar out. So that's what this app is. There's many other apps available as well, but you can take a bar out of this cycle. So right now, if you're saying we're feeling it in phrases of 4 bars at 80 or 8 bars at 160. So we're going to take 1 bar out, so I have 3 bars with the metronome playing and 1 bar with it not playing. And this is just going to develop your time without, the metronome's going to be aware, you're going to be aware of it, but it's not in control of this last bar. You've got to see if you come back in time. So I'll try and show you what I mean. I'm going to just demonstrate on the 2 and 4 now, because that's the kind of stuff I use, and probably what's going to be useful for you guys watching if you're into this old jazz stuff. We want to be practicing it with the emphasis on beats 2 and 4. So we're hitting this on 2 and 4. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now to back on. So that is a really useful thing to do whatever you're reading. Like, it can just be your metronome's on in the background, but it cuts out for a bar, and it means you're practicing this extra skill of in control of your own time as well, of whatever passage you're working on. So it's really useful. And hopefully, if you find this video useful, then please subscribe and ring the bell to us, and you'll get all our other videos when they come out. So the next thing to do is, and the next logical step is to take another bar out. So if we now have 2 bars of metronome and 2 bars without metronome, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So and obviously you can take that as far as you want. You can have as many bars in or out in that sequence as you want. The next step, once you're comfortable with that, I mean, it takes a long time to do this. I'm still working on it. Everyone's always working on it, and it only gets more difficult whatever passages you're playing. So definitely try that. Try feeling it on 2 and 4 if you're playing jazz stuff. But then once you're really comfortable with that, the next step to do is now try and start to feel this on the and of 2 and the and of 4. So what I mean by that is going 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And this is an excellent one to use for swing and jazz stuff because it's where it fits into the pattern. So if you're a drummer, it's 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4. You can practice it on the and of 1 and and of 3, which I've just started doing actually, because that's where you're not playing anything with the ride cymbal, so it's another challenge in itself. But today we'll stick with it on the and of 2 and and of 4. And again, it's like it really this is a big shift from playing everything we've done before, because we're just always on the beat before, whether it's every crotchet or every minim. This is now off the beat. So I'll put it back to all bars in again, and I'll try and demonstrate what I mean. A 1, 2, a 3, 4, 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 etc. So obviously then, once you're comfortable with that, it is very different, so don't feel bad if you struggle with it at the beginning, because it's pretty hard. Then again, just take a bar out. So this is now 3 bars of time and 1 bar without, playing whatever pattern you want to do, and you're trying to count it through. A 1, 2, a 3, 4, 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 a 1, 2, a 3, 4. Just about. Good. So hopefully you find them useful, and it's a more interesting way and hopefully rewarding way of playing with a metronome. The only other tip I'll give you is a way to try and practice hearing it in different ways, because it's quite hard, or when I've worked with other people, they tend to struggle to hear it. Once you hear a metronome in one place, it's quite hard to visualise it as something else. So how I try and get around that is I'll slow the metronome down. Probably wouldn't go much slower than 60 normally, because that's the second hand on the clock, so it's kind of in us and there. So if you're hearing this as crotchets, 1, 2, 3, 4, I've still got the bar out. I just really try and visualise it of where you want it. So if you want this as the 2 and 4, just start saying the number that you want it as, where the click is. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Do you know what I mean? So if you can visualise it as that number, it makes more sense. The and is obviously harder to do, but you're trying to go a 1, 2, a 3, 4, a 1, 2, a 3, 4, a 1, 2, a 3, 4, a 1, 2, a 3, 4. Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully you'll find that all useful. So join us again for the next video.